Hello, welcome back to another lecture. So in this lesson, all we are going to be covering is how to edit your components in the assembly. So now we have our components here, and please make sure you save your work. So for anything we are going to be doing in this lecture, I don't want you to save it. So save your work now. So to edit a component, we'll pick this board for this example. And to edit this board, all we can do is right click and right up here. And if you don't know what any of this mean, and when you hover over it, it actually tells you what it means. So I can edit that part itself, and if I click edit parts, it turns all the rest of this assembly into wireframe, and this bolt is blue, which indicates that I'm in edit mode. And is indicating it up here, and it's right here, edit components, and the bolt is blue and only that bolt is showing. So that means I'm in edit mode with that bolt, and you can go down here and just right click on anything you want to edit. For example, if I want to edit that sketch, I'll right click on it. Now I'm in that sketch mode. I can go normal to and change. Let's say I want to change that to 15. So I'll change it to 15, exit, and exit. And as you can see, that board actually changed in the assembly. So another way you can do is I can right click and edit that feature. And that feature will just be that extrude for that sketch. So let's change it to something drastic. So let's try 10, and I'll click OK and exit out. And as you can see, that is bleeding into there, but what we need to do is click our update, and when we click the update, that board actually readjusts itself 10. So that is pretty much how you edit a part, and you can also edit it in the original SolidWorks screen by right clicking on it and clicking open part. And if we edit a feature here, I'll just edit that feature again and change it to something drastic, 20, and click OK. So when I go back into my assembly, it's going to have this dialog box that do I want to apply it, and I click yes, and now it has applied that change. So anyway, that is how you edit a part in an assembly. And please don't save this, so X out of it, and I'm just showing you just for an example. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye. Hello, welcome back to another lecture. So in this lesson, we are going to be adding appearance to our valve. So to start, let's just open the valve. I'll browse to my file location and open my check valve. And so now I have the check valve, and some of those valve components that I provided in the asset folder might already have materials attached to it. So let's click on this display manager for the material, and I'm just going to click this and hold Control, click the last one, and delete. So if you have any material in your parts already, I want you to delete everything, so there is nothing in it. So everything should be the same color. So now we are going to add appearance to it, and the way we add appearance is we click on this appearance on the right side, and I'm just going to pull this down, and you click on the arrow drop down, and you have the different appearance here. You have plastic, metal, and paint, and rubber, and so on. So for this, since our valve is metal, so we're going to click on the drop down metal, and you have the different type of metal. You have steel, chrome, aluminum, bronze, brass, and so on. So for our valve cover and our valve body, that is going to be a carbon steel. So we click on the steel folder, and right under here we'll look for the carbon steel. So we have the cast carbon steel here. So once you find the right appearance, what you do is click and hold and you drag it to the body. So now you have the different option. So you can add it to the body, you can add it to that extrude boss, you can add it to that face, or you can add it to the part itself. So we want to add it to the part, and the difference between this check body and the assembly is when I add it under this assembly, it's going to add it in the assembly alone and not in the part. But this, we want to click the check body so that way we add it in the assembly and to the part itself. So we'll click the check body, and now we can see that that appearance is over there. And since this appearance is the same, this cover is going to be the same appearance as that body, what we can do is right click on this appearance, and right up here you see copy appearance. So we can copy and right click on this body and we select paste appearance, and again we want to apply to the cover. So those are the ways you apply, and if you don't want to copy it, you can come back here and drag this to that. So for the bolt is going to be cast iron. So we'll go under our metal and let's select the, we'll go under iron, and we have cast iron over there, and we'll just drag it to that bolt. And since all of our bolts are the same, it recognizes it, so we're just going to paste it. So the next thing we need to do is the internal parts. So I can section that, or instead of sectioning, what we can do is we can go and temporarily right click on this and we can hide it. So we can right click and hide. So we are just showing, revealing what is inside, and over here you can tell that those parts are being hidden because now it's white instead of yellow. So now we want to, the gasket is a chromium plate, so we're going to go on that chromium, and we have the chromium plate over there, and we are going to drag it to the gasket, and make sure you select the gasket. And the spring is going to be polished steel, so we go under the steel, we have our polished steel here, we are going to drag it to the spring and select the spring. And the last one, the last tool we want to do is the C, which is going to be a machine steel. So we're going to scroll down and find the machine steel right here, and we drag it to the C, the disc. We can right click, copy that appearance and click on the seat, right click, paste, and right click. Make sure when you paste it, make sure you select the seat, right click, paste. So now we've applied the appearance to all of our part, and what we can do is show our components again, and that is pretty much how you apply appearance to your part. And another way we can do it is, this is actually the easiest way to do it in the assembly. You can also right click, open the part itself and apply the appearance in the part, and everything will update in the assembly. Anyway, thank you. I'm just going to save this, and please make sure you save your work and save everything. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye. Hello, welcome back to another lecture. So in this lesson we are going to be learning how to change our scene in our valve for our assembly. So we have our assembly here, and a couple of things we can do to actually get this model looking good is right under this setting, view setting, we can turn on real graphics. So now when you have like a good graphics card in your computer, you actually see a more fine definition of that appearance. Now as you can see, we can see that carbon material very well. It looks pretty good. And another thing we can add up is shadow, and now there is shadow in the assembly. And another thing we can do is add ambient occlusion, which just gives a further fine definition. And the last thing we can add is perspective. So perspective is just how you look at it. So if I put it at that view, as you can see, everything looks really good. So to change the scene in our assembly is pretty simple. So you click on this drop down, and you have all the different, see, this is, I've added all this scene to it, but you can manage this scene by clicking on the manage favorite, and this dialog box comes up, and see, I have all this check. But if you uncheck it, you can only select the ones you want on your main screen, and by unchecking this. So what you just do to change your screen is just click on the drop down, and you can start changing it, and click on the drop down, and any scene I change it to, as you can see, the scene is changing. And you can pretty much select any one you want, and based on what you select, your screen is gonna change. So that is pretty much how you change your scene in SolidWorks. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye. Hello, welcome back. So in this lesson, we are going to be talking about the assembly features. So if we click on this drop down, we have all these features that can be added in the assembly mode. So what that means is any feature you add in this assembly would only be applied in the assembly mode, but not in the part mode. So a good example would be, let's say I want to do an extrude cut. So we'll go on we'll select a plane. So let's just say the front plane. And please, anything we do in this lesson, please save your work now. Anything we do in this lesson is just for example purpose. So don't save anything we do in this lesson. So we'll click on the front plane and sketch. And let's just draw a rectangle on that plane, normal 2, something like that. And exit that sketch. And now that we have our sketch, what we want to do is go into our assembly, and under the assembly feature, we want to pick an extrude cut. So now we have the extrude cut, which is, so we're just going to do through all. So cutting through that part through all. And now the only thing we have to select is selected component. So we have to either do, so pretty much the selected components means the components you select all, you can cut through all components there. So that is what we'll do, and we'll click OK. And as you can see, that extrude cut is cutting through that component in that assembly. But when I open this part file, I'll right click and open. As you can see, the extrude cut doesn't exist on the part level, it only exists in the assembly. So I'm going to close that, and as you can see, so we can right click on this feature and edit it, and now we have the pretty much the component, the selected, all components selected. And if we want to select component, and we'll uncheck that auto select. Now if you want this extrude cut to cut through certain part, you can uncheck the part you want it not to cut through. So any part you uncheck, this extrude cut would not cut through it, but any part you select, the extrude cut will cut through it. And that is how that feature works. And another thing is, let's say if we want to add a fillet, we can add a fillet to this bolt on that, not on the face, on the edge, something like that. And anything we apply with this feature, like I said, only exists in the assembly. So we'll click OK. So now if I right click and open that part file for that bolt, as you can see, the fillet does not exist on it. So that is pretty much how the assembly feature works. Any feature you use, assembly feature you use will only be applied in the on the assembly level, but not on the part level. And that is pretty much it. Thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll definitely answer your question in further details. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye. Hello, welcome back. So in this lecture, we are going to be learning how to create an exploded view in our assembly. So to create an exploded view is pretty much simple. So you have your assembly right here. So what you do is click on the exploded view and it brings you to this exploded step. So all you need to do from here is select the part you want to explode. So the first thing is we want to explode these bolts. So we can either select this bolt individually, but because they are the same, we'll just select all 4 bolts. And so now you have this gizmo. So you can either drag it in any direction you want, the X, along the X, Z, or Y. In the case of this bolt, is going in the Y direction, so we are just going to pull this Y up. So we have something like that. And you do the same thing for the cover. You pull it up just to create your steps. I always just select the steps I want to. I click on the gasket, pull it up. I'll click on the spring, do the same thing, pull it up. So pull it up that way. I'll click on the discs, pull it up, and the last one, the seat, I'll pull it up. I'm only pulling it up because that is what the direction it looks realistic pulling it up, because if your seat is sitting in that valve, you're not going to pull it out along the x-axis. You can only pull it along the y-axis because the way the valve is. Once you have it up, you can click on it again and you can pull it to the side. So whichever one you click is going to add that steps to it, and everything we've been clicking and pulling up is adding the steps over here. So I'm just going to delete that last step, so we have something like that. So, and that is our exploded view, and once we've done everything, we'll click OK. So now we have to collapse this exploded view and take it back to the normal view. We'll just go into this configuration manager, and right down here you see the exploded view. So all you need to do is right click on it and click collapse, and it goes back to your original view. And if you want the exploded view again, you right click, and you're back to the exploded view. Right click, collapse. So let's say you want to edit your exploded view. First, you will click right click, explode. Then you will now right click, edit feature. So now you are in that exploded view. You just select the step. You want to right click on it, edit step. Then you can drag it to whatever direction you want to redrag it. As you can see, and it's indicating that that bolt is selected because all 4 bolts are blue. Then you can drag it up and down however you want. So that is how the exploded view works. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.